Jack is deciding it's time to branch out. He's gonna try it. He's gonna do Christmas this year. Yeah. Anyway, so well, forget about it. It's a good thing that Mr. Claus is a patient. I was gonna say young man, but he's not a young man. Let me turn this off. No, he's as old as the hills. He's sitting there making those lists, checking them twice, finding out if you are naughty. And if you're naughty, or you too, if you're naughty, he has different plans for you. And and you too. And oh my gosh, do you think that all that Santa does on Christmas Eve and Christmas morning, or whatever it is, the nighttime hours of Christmas, you think the only thing he does is deliver toys to children? What about all those women who've been naughty? I mean, and I've heard he's bi, so I think he's very he's very busy, very busy indeed. Anyway, oh my gosh. Anyways, the mayor. Remember the mayor? The mayor, he's got all the plans and he's knocking on the door. They're waiting, Oh, and Jack, meanwhile, is walking around thinking about various subordinate clauses, wondering how he's going to get out of his contract for the 3-movie deal with that guy, Bim Turton. Bim Turton, do you know what kind of guy? You think he's just like an artist and a director and kind of a genius of his own sort, and you think it's all that? Only that? You see it, he is, but he's a frickin' business person you wouldn't believe, and he's got, he's a little bit of, you be careful. So Jack wasn't careful enough, and he sort of got himself, tied in. He's got Jack under a barrel. Sometimes Jack doesn't mind it, but not in terms of not that kind. There's different kinds of barrels, Anyway, no, Bim Turton is, forget it. Oh, you know what? No, we're getting mixed up. Santa Claus. No, Jack is going to talk to Santa Claus, not to Bim Turton or anything. Right? And he's going to go, hey, Santa, I think we should mix things up. How about if I take over Christmas this year, and you could do Halloween next year? How about that? It's gonna be fun. Oh, maske up, no pasino. Well, you can imagine. Oh, anyway, so forget about Jack. We're back to the mayor. He's at the door, He's getting a little concerned. He's gonna, Jack is usually, coming out, as soon as he knocks on the door, Jack's, yeah, let me go. And this is the time it's a little bit different, But the mayor is in a different state. The mayor's really excited with the boat. Yeah, Jack! The mayor, just by the way, he's kind of shaped like Santa. I think that's why I keep getting mixed up between Santa and the mayor. They're both kind of like, we're like a top, that kind of top that gets bigger as it goes down. And a little suction cup on the bottom, and you go, do, and it goes, that's what they're like, except they're a little bit, they're a little bit higher. They're not like, and Santa's a big guy. The mayor's just kind of pretty small. He's about this. Anyway, but he's getting worried. He's standing at the door. He's been standing, He's going through this process of realizing that Jack may be not home. Jack! His head is starting to go wobble back. He's binary spy, bi. Not that kind. The other kind, binary. He's either climbing all the time, or the other side is the opposite. And in the middle is nothing. It's only a blur. Is he some? Well, he's in one. He's right now. And then he goes. Oh, I'm on my own here. Come, I'm only elected official, Jack. I need you, Jack. Come on. That's. I'm only an elected official. And anyway, Foddy is one of those kind of. He's an elected official. I mean, oh, just Boyney had said, you know what? Today, since let's talk about Foddy since I know about him, Boyney. Yeah, he says to me, I know the guy, so let's talk about him. But let's do one of our letter substitution days. Today is a day where F substitutes for M, okay? Ow. Foddy. Oh, Foddy. Farkowitz. Fart. He was born farting, but then he got changed. I mean, he's a nice guy. He's an E kind of guy, you know, boy. But Foddy, not just Fart. You can't call him Fart. You gotta call him Foddy. Or Fartin. Fart. He does, I mean, the fact is he does have a bit of a problem with, he loves beans and they don't, so the letter substitution happens to be very appropriate this time with him, Foddy. So he lives in my neighborhood. I've been away from my neighborhood for a while. I lived there for many years. Quickland. And Quickland's a real place. There's 3 letters been changed, the first one and then the 4th and 5th letters. We're not going to tell you how, but you know what? You can figure out, right? Where you know where this guy is from Quickland, right? You're from Quickland. Oh, I'm sorry, I know he gets a little sensitive. If I touch him right to a certain place, he goes, I used to have 6 fingers, you know. After he did it, he said, you should thank me because most people only have 5 fingers. And I had to thank him. Oh, you know, in this Quickland, by the way, you know, it just happens to be the part of the bigger place, the bigger fruit, where Blas comes from. Blas lives in the sort of in the larger neighborhood near me. Foddy lives over that way, and Blas lives over that way. Although I think now he has a different house for the term. But I met him when he was first running for city council. His son was in my son's class. It was quite an inferno. But oh, yeah, someday we'll invite Blas to our little Paratopian interview stage, and Blas and I will talk to you about what he said to me. Because I have very precise memories, and we'll talk about it. Blas is a good guy. He remembers his friends. When running for, when he was running for city, what do you call it? Stepping stone to mayor. That role? Ombudsman or something? Was that his? Whatever. Advocate. City advocate. So, in that way, he didn't. He did public advocate. He didn't think it was appropriate to support the Paratopian campaign to sort of raise consciousness. The election was a foregone conclusion in 2009 because, of course, this man, who, by the way, ffbFooFooBerg. Remember, we're substituting the M for the F. ffbFooFooBerg. That's it. ffbFooFooBerg. That's it. So FICO, it's hard. Never mind. FICO. No, it's Bleichel. Fooberg. So anyway, we were having a campaign to get people to say, you know, there's something wrong here. We put together a little video, which you might want to watch a little bit of it. It's a little longer than you probably care about, but it's a little bit of a little time, you know, go back in time to right a moment, right before the election that ffbFooFooBerg bought. He was a smart guy, but this guy figured out the way he became such a billionaire. He's got like $20 billion, and he learned something. He made money in a legitimate way, but he figured out how to sell news to people who pay big for it. News such as who has had the gall to start speaking up about pollution in our town that we provide all the jobs for, and we really don't want this idea that maybe we have to do something about our smokestacks or what we put into the river. That's the kind of news that old ffbFooBerg sells. Along with all sorts of other things, of course. But basically, intelligence. That's how he became unbelievably rich. Do you know that during the time he did his first 2 terms of mayor, 8 years, his wealth increased? Oh, partly not by his salary, because his salary was $1 a day. $1 a day. I mean, year, $1 a year. He said, oh, you see, I don't need, I mean, people said, yeah, he works for free. I mean, he only takes $1. But during that time, his wealth increased on an average. It went from 5 billion to 17, I believe. Just do the math. 4 a day. Every single day. And I'm not talking about $4, or $400, or $4,000, or $40,000, or $400,000. I'm talking about $4 million every single day between the time he started as mayor to the time he was ready to spend a mere $90 million. Who cares? How many days work was that? I mean, life, he wasn't even working for it. He wasn't getting paid as mayor. His business just grew like that during the time he was mayor. Oh, the Big Apple, where Blas comes from. Blas, a person I know personally. Boiny there. No, Boiny does not know Blas. I know Blas, and my son knows Blas. I knew him when he was first starting to running for the city council, and I was in the Inferno. I'm the president of the PTA, and I called him for some help and advice. And it's someday we'll invite him in, and we'll have a little talk about the advice that he gave me. I remember it very precisely, and I made great use of it. Let Blas and I together tell you what he said. Yeah. Blas is a good guy. He remembers his friends. But I remember the last time when he was running for city public advocate, he and I did we covered some of the same ground. Our campaign to see if we could wake people up and say, hey everybody, we need to just raise our voices about the idea of money being just what can come and just come in and buy. Buy this guy, ffbFooBerg. Remember the Foom, it's tricky. We are really into puzzles around here, so don't worry about it. And we frequently find our hobgoblins getting into our little minds and confusing us and saying, what are you being so consistent for? It doesn't make sense. Or, why are you worried that you're not being 100% consistent all the time? Oh, say it. Oh, the ex-mayor. Okay, wait, okay. Back to ffbFooBerg. he's decided he's the only one who could save the city right after the financial crisis. You see, that's 2009. Oh, no. The guy is a very smart guy. He sort of, oh, I'm the only one who really could do it. And he is a very smart guy. He figured out how to sell news to people who want to pay, who are willing to pay a lot of money for news. Though it's not news, we're talking about public, open kind of news. It's private news. It's actually what we would call espionage. I mean, legal. I mean, he didn't do anything illegal. He just collects. You know what? Forget espionage. I apologize, monsieur. Please don't have your lawyers come after me and sue me. What I meant to say is you engage in intelligence gathering. That's what you're an intelligence agent. See, for business. And you're brilliant, and you did a really good job of it, and you just let's call a spade, and let's call the fact that you were mayor for the third term by A, being a bully, and B, buying the election. And for that, sir, you deserve that from me. Okay? That kind of behavior is what makes people cynical and throw up their hands and say, what can I do about it? Look what these guys can just do. I mean, look, now I'm talking to you, ex-mayor. I'm angry. And when I get angry, I have to be a bit of a clown, because if I weren't a clown, I'd take a gun and shoot you, but no, Hamlet, upon returning from his interview with his father who's dead for like several months. Of course, his father was a little bit different because he was ethereal. You know, you could see through him, so to speak. I mean, I couldn't see through him, and probably you couldn't either, because neither of us were there. But Hamlet could. And Hamlet was kind of because especially since people at that time actually kind of believed in such things as demons, or devils, or witches, or forces that come and lure people into the abyss of insanity, for example. Insanity was an act of God, of the devil or something. So Hamlet was being very brave to go after his father's ghost, who beckoned him away from his friends. They tried to pull him back because they too were very afraid of what might happen to him. And when he came back, he starts to tell them. He says, "Look at what," and then he goes, now if any of you see me acting the antic disposition, you will know that I'm doing it for a reason. I do not want people who are who would destroy me. I don't want those people to think of me as a potent foe. Though my father's ghost has told me that I must, for everybody's sake, for his memory, for his wife's honor, which has been besmirched by this foul brother of his, Claudius, who, while he lay sleeping in his garden, accessible to only those whom he trusted the most, and his snake, who happened to be a human, who happened to be his brother, came slithering in to the garden and into the porches of his ears poured a substance so inimical to life that quicksilver-like it courses through the body, and freezes the very soul. So we, here, myself, and those whom Brainy is the symbol of, all of us, the community of us who already call ourselves we and us. And the community that includes anyone who decides that for this one moment, and possibly for another moment, and another moment, and another moment, possibly forever, but not. That's not the way we think here in Paratopia, because, well, we take a great deal of direction. It's not the right word. It's more like magnetic attraction or magnetic shaping of us, of our energies which come in and out. That's the yin, it's the yinning. It's when we allow energies to come into us. Yanging is when we respond. Shoo! Or perhaps when there's something inside of us that's saying, I'm reaching out, I'm sending my energies out. And somewhere they're going to bounce in some way, or they'll just dissipate, either way. But almost definitely there's going to be some that will bounce, or will interleave with others' energies. Not so much that that this energy, my energy, comes out and bounces back. That can be done, but it's more likely, actually, that my energies come out and intermingle with your energies, like this. And my energies kind of do something to your energies, and your energies do something to my energies. And together we now create a new vibe that goes out in all directions. And so that what I feel back from after, as a result of my energies going out, intermingling with yours, and then coming back to me. And that comes into me and affects me, intermingles with me, and then that and it goes back, and it goes back and forth. And it always is happening. We have a lot of say-so in how much it happens, and in which areas it happens to us.